Kaizer Chiefs face Supersport United in the DStv Premiership. Both teams are not in great form. Supersport only has 3 points out of their last 5 games. Drawn 3 and lost 2. Kaizer Chiefs, on the other hand, only 1 point in the last 5 games. 1 draw, 4 losses. Horrendous, right? But how is the team going to set up based on how they performed in the last game, based on the approach that Supersport is going to take? Because if you think about Supersport, we know what to expect, right? Number one, they sit deep, they absorb all the pressure, and they make sure that whenever they get an opportunity, they strike. They have good crossers of the ball, and they know that their strikers can head. So they will be attacking us with crosses, and they will be making sure that they're utilizing set pieces. And that's a shame, because you look at Kaizer Chiefs and they seem to struggle when it comes to defending corner kicks. 2 of our last 3 goals, we considered them through corner kicks and basically something like a ball being thrown into the box. The goal that we considered against Chippa, it was a long throw. We failed to deal with it. Then it was a goal. The goal against Richards Bay, it was a corner kick. We failed to deal with it. And then it was a goal. So clearly, Kaizer Chiefs seems to struggle because there are many more goals that we've considered like that this season. So if it was about what should and what could Kaizer Chiefs do defensively, that thing must be talked about. We need to make sure that we don't give away goals in those set piece moments. And yes, I know a lot of people will say we find it acceptable for Kaizer Chiefs to lose right now because we want them to lose so that the management can make right decisions. But we're going to throw that on the side for now and just look at the game. Now, Kaizer Chiefs strategy. How should they line up? Here's the thing. You play a 4-3-3. A 4-3-3, not a 4-2-3-1. You're not playing a 6-2, you're playing 1-6. Why am I saying that? Because Kaizer Chiefs is most likely going to have a lot of position, right? So, and what we've seen with the coach is that he's now making the fullbacks go forward and overlap. We even saw it with Shanti. He was going forward better in the game that we played against Richards Bay. So there is slightly a tweak there because now they are going forward, both of the fullbacks, which means we're only going to be left with the centre-back pairing, and then we should have one of the sixes. Well, not one of the sixes, 1-6 sitting deep so that there is never any confusion as to who's supposed to go forward and who's supposed to stay. And at this point, based on recent form, I think that there are only 2 players that I would accept to play as a number 6. The first one is Yusuf Mart. Yes, I know people are going to say, Mart has not done anything special for Chiefs, but who has done anything special right now in that 6th position? Because the other person that I would actually pick to play in that position as a 6 is Usteb. And yes, I know I'm starting with a 6. I'm going to go back to defenders. I'm starting with that position because it's pivotal to a lot of things that are going to happen. 1, Supersport gets the ball. We are attacking them all the time. They try to break. The 6 is supposed to be there to break all those counters. So that's why I'm starting with that one. Now, let's go back and talk about the goalkeeper, the right back, and everyone else. Now, goalkeeper Vuma shouldn't change, obviously. And I like the fact that the coach has started to sort of trust Solomons. So I would like to see Solomon starting as a right back as well, because going forward, he can dribble. He can also give us width going forward and be the wide player. And that will allow whoever will play as a winger to invert so that the ones who are wingers are more in the box, and then the right back and the left back are the ones who are giving us width, crossing the ball, dribbling the ball from outside of the defenders, and maybe getting the ball into the box, and not just having 3 people up front. That's unacceptable. Same thing with the left back situation is Uhlanti tried to do the overlapping as we've been hoping he would do. Problem is he then pulled the muscle, because when that happened, I realized, that's why it doesn't make those overlapping runs anymore, because he knows what happens. And when he tried to do that in the last game, we saw what happened. So I would say that the coach has a decision to make, because on one hand, you have Ufrosla, who you can play as that left back situation. And with Frosla, you can use him in 2 ways. One, he can overlap. His left foot is okay, but it's not like left foot, which is why sometimes you can say Mashiane can be favored ahead of him. But let me talk about Frosler for a minute, because you can also use Frosler as an inverted fullback, because instead of him being the one who's doing or giving width on the left, he can invert and get into midfield or even in the half space and let Tumodi be the wide player or whoever is going to playing as a winger, so that winger is the one who's able to dribble. Because on the right, we can let Usolomons be the one who's wide and will be able to dribble. Why? Because he can dribble Solomons. But Ngapa Frosler is not really a dribbler. So for him to be inverted and play as an inverted fullback, that would work, because he also has a good shot. So if he receives the ball in half space, he can take a 10 and take a shot at goal. So Frosler can work as a left back because of those two reasons. But you can also play Umashiane because he has a very good left foot, and we see Gucci Chiefs does try to play those crosses into the box. So the coach has two options there, and I don't think that should be troublesome to him. Now, when it comes to our centre-back pairing, I think they always pick themselves, Dove and Msimango. I would just like to see Msimango playing with much more confidence than what we've been seeing in recent games. Now in midfield, obviously, we have Ustebe sitting as the first 8, which brings us to the second person as a number 8. And that person that I would play there is Samkelo Zwane. Hear me out. That boy has not gotten enough chances. And he's the one person at Kaizer Chiefs right now who, with consistency, has a different type of range of pass. He can pass long, he can pass short, he can also dribble past people, can just control the tempo of the game. He's that good. Give him an opportunity. You have nothing, literally nothing to lose, because at this point he wants to prove himself, and these other older players have not really taken the opportunity, tons of opportunities that they've been given. So give a player who's capable of doing that. He can also, given that we're playing against Supersport, they are sitting very deep. Samkelo Zwane also has a very mad shot. He can shoot from distance. So that's also an advantage of playing him. Controls the game in that position, can shoot from distance. He can pass long-range passes, but also he can play just short passes, collect the ball and pick the ball, collect the ball. He can do that. So play Samkelo Zwane. And this is another one that gets very tricky. As a number 10, since I already have Samkelo Zwane, as a number 10, I would start Umdantsane, because whenever he has played of late, he plays well. So I don't get why he's not been given an opportunity. And the reason why I say I would start Umdantsane and not Mfundo Vilakazi at this point is because Supersport inabo Markaman lapha in midfield, inabo Umbata, if I'm not mistaken. So they already have experienced midfielders, and they might bully these two boys. So at least have Ustebe as an experienced player, have Zwane there, and then have Umdantsane as well. But if it doesn't do well, there's always Mfundo Vilakazi on the bench, because he has not done anything wrong. And if roles are clearly defined, ukuthi 6 is Umthetho, 6 is Ustebe, 8 is Zwane, and 10 is Umdantsane, that works perfectly well. And then the next one is obviously going to be wingers. On the left, I would play Tutuzi Shabalala. What's the reason for that? Because Upule Modi, as much as stats-wise, is leading in terms of goals and whatnot. But the problem is sometimes he looks too afraid. And that is why I was saying on the left, if Frosler is playing as a left back, he can always invert and let the winger be the one who dribbles, because he provides so much energy, Shabalala. He can be tracking back, but also when he gets the ball, he's not shy to try and dribble past people. And he can dribble past them, they can foul him. We get situations where we can get the ball closer there and attack the goal of Supersport United. So I do think that Shabalala at this point is a better option than Umodi, because it just doesn't look like the same Modi. I think confidence is very down. And who could blame him, right? Chiefs has not been doing well at all. And this brings us to our number 9. And our number 9, remember I said, with our number 6, with our number 3, if you play Mashiane, that means we're playing balls into the box. Play Uranga Chivaviro, because Uranga Ngempela is one player who's not been given an opportunity, but does deserve to play in that position, because he's a box striker. And if you are playing Solomons, who's going to try dribble past defenders on the right and then cross the ball to Ranga, then you need a striker whose natural instincts are to be in the box and to score. Same thing on the other side. If you have Mashana crossing the ball, even Frosla no Mtu Shabalala combining, playing the ball into the box, you need a target man there. People who have striker instincts, because we're missing a lot of these chances. And I'm thinking to myself, Uranga has gotten harder chances this season, and those are the ones that he puts away because he doesn't get much game time. And with the pandemic that we're having of missing chances, I think Uranga gives you a lot at this current point for Kaizer Chiefs, which brings us to the right winger. And you guys already know, I think Usaile is not a starter. He can come from the bench, but I don't think he's a starter. But just a side note, where is Potsane, right? Like, because Potsane would be a player who could come in games like this and cause trouble on that right side. Because the moment he got dropped, he was playing well for the Chiefs. So I don't understand why he got dropped. But we move and we say, play Dupree there, because as much as he's not going to be a number 9 and score, because he doesn't score Vele in any case, play him on the right and he still provides you NH as well, and that dribbling and his delivering to the box is relatively well enough on a good day. So I think that if you take the pressure away from him of scoring and just make him a creator on the right, and then if chances fall into him, then he can try to score. Give Ranga that responsibility, play Dupree on the right, and see what happens. But what do you guys want to see tomorrow for Kaizer Chiefs versus Supersport United? Let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.